Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do a lot of things here. Beer reviews are one of them. That's what we're going to be doing today. This sucker, courtesy of my boy Carson. Carson from Colorado, not Florida. This is some collab hopeful goodness. Cerebral Brewing, Lady Justice. I haven't had anything from Lady Justice over here, so I'm kind of curious. It's a barrel-aged beer. It's called Unconfirmed Details. It's a barrel-aged Imperial Stout. I just started to hiss like this thing cracked or something. Or I'm going crazy. It's a barrel-aged Imperial Stout with coconut and cacao nibs. Say what? Yeah, Cerebral Brewing. This kind of looks like the bubble tea. You see it in like pho Vietnamese restaurants, so I can kind of dig that. It is, they say stuff. There's stuff on the back here. And the stuff would be barrel-aged Ecuadorian cacao nibs. Toasted coconut. Wait a minute. Barrel-aged Imperial Stout with coconut and cacao nibs. It's 12.5%. And back here it says Calfax Collab. I don't know what Calfax Collab means. Read this in the back. This reads like it's a barrel-aged cacao nibs with toasted coconut in the beer, as opposed to a barrel-aged stout. Because if you look, it says barrel-aged, and then cacao nibs, and then a space. Like it's almost like they made sure they separated that, and then you have the cocoa nut. Anyway, we're gonna drink it. I love stouts when they have the black tops on them. I really, really, really do, because like my fridge back there, I actually have a decent amount of beer in it right now. I was like, you know what? I kind of want to review a stout. I'm like, wait, I know Carson sent me one. I look in there and I see a black top. I'm like, it's gotta be that one, and boom. Easy peasy. I can dig it. Like I said, I like the label. I mean, geometric patterns, as much as I kind of not poo-poo on them, but just kind of on them sometimes. I do like them, so more often than not, I am going to be a fan. And this is more like of a bubble tea. A Vietnamese bubble tea had a baby with like the side of a turntable pattern. I don't like bubble tea, but I like turntables. So there you go. I don't hate it. Let's put it that way. Beer-wise, I mean, it looks the part of a stout. I sit here and say barrel-aged stout. Sure, whatever. That's where I like my coffee to look like. Probably just a little bit darker, but lately I've been leaning into the darkness, so yeah. And it's got this big, rich darkness. It's not thick like Motorol when I kind of give it a spin. It's not like undulating in a plasmatic, that's a word, kind of way. It's dark with like 3 Ks. Nose. Oh, it smells awesome. That smells awesome. Ooh, I'm gonna like this beer. If I don't like this beer, I'm gonna get angry. Like really, really angry. This reminds me of stuff. They talk about stuff. I can talk about stuff. Man, this reminds me of stuff. Man, it's that coconut. I really do think that brings it over the top. I don't think it's all the coconut is what is bringing coconut to this beer. I think it is really definitely made, and we'll find out actually in the taste, but I think, when you have this kind of cool imparting of coconut from a barrel, I think that's one of the most beautiful kind of flavors in all of beer, especially when it comes to the darker variety. And I do enjoy, a toasted, roasted kind of coconut in beer. When you combine them, that's great. But when you combine them in a way where you're almost using that toasted, the addition of the coconut to elevate the coconut from the barrel, I think that's the coolest way to use it. And I'm getting those vibes kind of here. You get a nice, rich kind of vanilla. Could be the chocolate in there. Could be the barrel. I confuse chocolate, cacao nib with vanilla. Sometimes my palate's kind of poopy that way. Or at least on the nose, as far as that goes, but it kind of goes both ways. And it just smells like a rich barrel-aged beer with a hyper amount of coconut going on. And a nice touch of vanilla. Oh man, the beer's there. It's roasty and toasty without getting too heavy-handed. It's not like Russian Imperial Stout. It's more of a, I don't want to say sweeter, but more on the sweet side, but without being overly sweet, at least perceptually in the nose. I'm diving in. Cheers, y'all. That was a horrible taste for me. Like, you ever swallow something and it's just awkward, and you kind of like gets a lump in your throat real quick, and then it goes down, and you're like, oh, I just kind of, I think almost like choked on my liquids. I literally did that right there, so we're going to have to do over. Chocolate out the wazoo. Man, that's tasty, man. Prominent spirit, prominent barrel, prominent beer. And I don't really want to say prominent adjunct when we're talking about like the cacao nib kind of cocoa thing. I think that's the coolest part about it. I think it melds pretty well. I think it actually acts like a suture between all those components. You know, sometimes you get big barrel, big spirit, big beer, and there's really kind of like a little bit of a valley, a little bit of a gap between those, and they're kind of separate entities. I think, I think that coconut and vanilla vibes, kind of chocolate vibes, all meld together, and that's what brings everything together. It's those additions of that adjunct that really kind of make this beer almost act like it's a little bit older, have a little bit of time on it, and just kind of bridge all the ingredients in a more cohesive kind of beer. And that's kind of how it comes off. I really don't try to like talk about other breweries' beers all that much in beers that I have, but there is a distinct Reeve from Florida vibe here. I've had a ton of their barrel-aged beers courtesy of Carson, oddly enough, or not so oddly enough. And there's always been this inherent kind of drinkability with richness and boldness. I've always got that from Reeve. I don't know at this point. They've always been big and bold barrel spirit adjunct beer itself, but not in a one gets two out in left field kind of way. And I kind of appreciate that with that kind of drinkability. And when I say drinkability, it's not 9 C's, it's 2 C's thick. It's something that is something you could drink a whole can of, or a whole bottle of, or small bottle of, which I kind of really appreciate. I love me some super thick beer that's really kind of just super over the top, kind of crazy, but it's usually 3 ounces at a time, and I'm like, okay, let's move on from that. This is like, I'm going to enjoy the whole can of this, and I really appreciate that, and that's where that kind of symbiosis kind of comes in with Reeve and how they do things. Very much similar, which, like I said, is kind of odd because Carson sent me those. Well, not really, because he probably drank this and go, man, I really enjoy this, and if he really enjoys it, it's probably similar to the stuff that he really likes, and he thought I would like it, so cheers to you, my man. Yeah, that's delicious. That's absolutely fantastic. That's 2 Cerebrals in a row. I will try 2 Posies at the same time. Spoiler alert. Really enjoyed the other one too. So, yeah. Big, bold, rich stout. Again, there's a bittering there, but it's not Russian Imperial Stout level bittering, at least in an Americanized kind of way. But you get this rich, big chocolate component, even like maybe even a dollop of kind of coffee vibes off of it. And then you have that big barrel and spirit component. You know, the bourbon's there, it's meaningful, it's not overly hot, but you get it sweet, kind of, not under-ripened kind of cherry notes kind of thing going on with this nice kind of barrel char, a little bit of chocolate in there, nice hefty dollop of coconut. And then when you throw those adjuncts in there, when you throw the cacao nibs, that helps kind of bridge the gap between, like I said, the beer, the spirit, and the barrel, and brings this kind of rich, kind of almost brownie-like kind of component. It's not that sweet, and it's not that desserty, but you can get those kind of vibes from it. And then that coconut, it just takes that coconut that you get from the barrel and just accentuates it. It's like the MSG of coconut, and then it just kind of brings it up and elevates it to another level, to where it's not like Sukaba level kind of coconut, but it's close, and it's just that rich and good and delicious. So we're talk about turntables, talk about bubble tea, talk about coconut, talk about delicious. They're all good things, except for bubble tea. That's weird. Anyway, barrel-aged beers, Mount Rushmore status. I want to put it there. I think it's going to be outside looking in, just because I have had some amazing ones as of late, but it's worthy of being up there. And it comes down to just let's having the conversation, Cerebral. What are your thoughts? Lady Justice, what are your thoughts? I've never had anything from them before. I actually never heard of them until I got this beer from Carson. So let me know your thoughts on both of those breweries. More specifically, let me know your thoughts on this beer. Carson, obviously, you would have had this. Really curious as to what you think about it. I know sometimes he'll drink along with the beers when I review them, so really, really curious to see what you think. And anybody else out there who've had this, have had this version, please let me know what you think and where you think I am different than what you thought. Not wrong, just different. So there you go. Review on the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Cheers, y'all.